Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Todd. This is Todd. For today's video, I've decided to do another meal on a budget. This one, I like to call it trash casserole. For this recipe, you are going to need 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 1 can of cream of chicken. You can use both cream of chicken or both cream of mushroom, it does not matter. You're going to need half of a medium onion. You're going to need about 1 pound of hash browns. I'm just using Southern style hash browns. You're going to need 1 pound. You're going to need 454 grams or 1 pound of ground beef. You're going to need a couple handfuls of shredded cheese. I am using Fiesta blend cheese because that's what I use all the time. And you're also going to need some type of oil to fry your ground beef in. If you have a very fatty ground beef like a 7327, you do not need the oil, but I have a very lean ground beef, so I need that extra oil to fry it in. You're also going to need some lemon pepper, basil, and oregano. You do not need to use the basil or oregano, that just adds a little extra flavor. And one last thing is some salt to taste. To start this, you're going to want to fry your ground beef and your onions together, and you are going to want to go ahead and add in all 3 of your spices and your salt. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera angle. Okay, so I got my camera angle switched and I'm getting ready to do the ground beef. So for this, since I'm using a lean ground beef, I'm going to throw in about a tablespoon of oil. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in my ground beef. And I'm also going to go ahead and throw in my onion. And also, I'm going to throw in my about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of lemon pepper. About 1 teaspoon of the oregano, and also about 1 teaspoon of the basil. Also, I'm going to throw in about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go ahead and just start I'm just going to go ahead and bring you back once this is done. I don't think you need to see me stand here and do this for a couple of minutes. Okay, so my ground beef is pretty much fried right now at this point. So I am going to go ahead and just switch my camera angle back over to my counter, and I will go ahead and show you how I assemble this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I assemble. I always just start off by pouring my ground beef in, and if any stuck to the bottom, I'll go ahead and just scrape that off. And go ahead and pour that in there too. And now I'm just going to spread this out evenly onto the bottom of a 8x8 square cake pan. If you want to do a 9x13, I would recommend using 2 pounds of ground beef for that. But this right here is good enough for about, I'm going to say about 5 to 6 people, depending on serving size. So, and if you can get to the grocery store at the right time, you can get ground beef for a really good price. So, this meal really wouldn't cost all that much. Probably be maybe $3 for the ground beef, depending on where you live. And I believe this 2 pound bag of hash browns is like 2 something. I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the hash browns on. I'm not really worried about all the ice. If there's big chunks of it, take those out. But I'm going to go ahead and just spread this out into an even layer. And you don't have to use name brand cream of mushroom or chicken soup. You can just use regular store brand if you're on a really tight budget. Alright, so right about there with that. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my cream of mushroom and chicken, which I went ahead and mixed together while my ground beef was frying. And I'm not really sure how much this meal costs with everything added up, but I'm pretty sure you could make this for about $8, and it's good for about 5 to 6 people depending on the serving size. So it's fairly cheap, not really too expensive. But if you're on a really tight budget, like I said earlier, you can go ahead and just use store brand products. And I'm going for an even coating of the cream of mushroom and chicken. So everything gets dispersed evenly in the ground beef. Now comes the cheese. And you can use any type of cheese you want. You do not have to use the cheese that I am using. And you don't need to really go generous on this. You can just use a handful if you'd want to. I like a thick layer of cheese, so that's why I'm using as much as I am. And you are going to want to go ahead and just bake this at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the cheese is completely melted and bubbling. You would actually want to go ahead and preheat your oven before you start frying anything, as the ground beef doesn't really take any time at all to cook. Maybe about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this video up right here, as this is getting ready to go into the oven and it is done. As always, if you enjoyed watching this video, smash that like button, and if you're not subscribed already, smash that subscribe button too. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you continue to come along with me on this journey of mine.